After 18 years of marriage, taking care of the house, the kids, and giving up her career, Lisa received a bombshell from her husband that changed everything. Stephen looked her in the eyes and said that from that moment on, she would have to split all the household bills with him. 50-50, every single penny. Lisa had no idea that this absurd demand was hiding a much darker secret, a secret that would destroy everything they had built together. Lisa met Stephen in college. He was determined, focused, full of dreams about the future. She was creative, worked with graphic design, and also had her own plans. They fell in love fast and got married 2 years after graduation. The first years were good. They lived in a small apartment in Chicago, worked hard, had dinner together every night, and made plans for the future. When Olivia was born, Lisa decided to pause her career. It was a joint decision, or at least that's what she thought at the time. Stephen was growing in the company, traveled a lot, and someone needed to stay with the baby. 3 years later, Jake came along, and Lisa went back to work, but only part-time from home, doing some projects here and there. Nothing that would compromise time with the kids. Stephen kept climbing the career ladder. Promotions, bonuses, business trips. Lisa took care of everything at home. The kids, homework, doctor's appointments, school meetings, grocery shopping, bills, organization, cleaning. 18 years went by like this, until that Thursday night, when everything changed. Before we continue, we want to know from you who's watching us right now. What city and country are you tuning in from? Leave it in the comments. We love knowing who's part of our community. Lisa spent the entire day preparing everything. It was Thursday, March 14th, exactly 18 years since she and Stephen said yes to each other in that small church in Milwaukee. She wanted to do something special. She woke up early, took Jake to school, dropped Olivia off at volleyball practice, and stopped by the supermarket. She bought fresh salmon, the kind Stephen loved, asparagus, small potatoes to roast, a bottle of red wine. She also picked up new candles and some white roses for the table. The day was sunny. Lisa felt excited. When she got home, she put the groceries in the kitchen and looked at the clock. She had 4 hours until Stephen arrived. Enough time. She turned on the music softly and started cooking. While seasoning the salmon, she thought about how fast time had gone by. 18 years. Olivia was already 16, thinking about college. Jake was 13 and going through that complicated adolescent phase. Around 5:30, Olivia came home from practice. She walked into the kitchen with her backpack on and her face red from exercise. "Hi, Mom. Smells good. What are you making?" "Special dinner. Wedding anniversary," Lisa replied, smiling. Olivia made a face like she had completely forgotten. "Oh, that's right. 18 years, huh?" "Yes, honey." "Does Dad know?" "No, it's going to be a surprise." "Cool, I'm going to shower." Half an hour later, Jake arrived too. He went straight to his room without even passing through the kitchen. Lisa shook her head, smiling. Teenagers. At 6:40, everything was ready. The table was set, the candles were lit, the wine was open. Lisa quickly went upstairs to change. She put on a navy blue dress, applied some lipstick, fixed her hair. When she came down, she heard the key in the door. Stephen had arrived. Lisa went to the kitchen doorway, waiting to see his reaction. Stephen walked in, dropped his briefcase on the floor, took off his jacket. He looked tired. He had dark circles under his eyes, and his tie was crooked. "Hi," he said without enthusiasm. "Hi, surprise, wedding anniversary." Lisa opened her arms, pointing to the decorated dining room. Stephen looked at the table, at the candles, at the wine. He didn't smile. "Lisa, I'm exhausted. It was a long day." Her heart sank, but she tried to keep her spirits up. "I know, honey, but it's our anniversary. 18 years. I made that salmon you love." He sighed, ran his hand over his face. "Okay, fine. Let me just wash my hands." Lisa felt that something was wrong. They sat down at the table. Lisa served dinner, filled the wine glasses. She tried to make conversation. "Remember when we got married?" It was raining, but when the ceremony started, the sun came out. "Uh-huh," Stephen responded, cutting the salmon mechanically. "And our honeymoon in Sedona, those incredible trails." "Yeah, it was good," he said, without looking at her. The silence became heavy. Lisa took a sip of wine, feeling a lump in her throat. She had known Stephen for over 20 years. She knew when something was wrong. And at that moment, there was definitely something wrong. They ate in silence for a few minutes, just the sound of silverware touching plates. Then Stephen put down his fork, wiped his mouth with the napkin, and looked at her. "Lisa, we need to talk," he said, seriously. Her stomach turned. "About what?" "About money, about our financial situation," Lisa frowned. "Financial situation? Everything's okay, isn't it?" "It's under control, yes. But I think things need to change," he said, and there was something cold in his voice. "Change how?" she asked, feeling her heart race. Stephen took a deep breath. "I think from now on, we should split all the household expenses, 50-50. Lisa blinked, confused. "What do you mean, 50-50? All the bills, mortgage, electricity, water, gas, internet, food, everything. We split 50% each." Lisa let out a nervous laugh. "You're kidding, right?" "No, Lisa, I'm serious. Stephen, I work part-time. I earn a fraction of what you earn. How am I going to split the bills 50-50? Her voice started to shake. "You're going to have to find a way, work more hours, take on more projects. I don't know. But it's not fair for me to carry everything alone." Lisa felt like she'd been punched. "Carry everything alone? Stephen, I spent 18 years taking care of our home, our kids. I gave up my career so you could focus on yours. That was your choice," he shot back coldly. "My choice. We decided together. You said it made sense. Well, now things are different. Olivia's already 16. Jake is 13. They don't need someone at home all the time anymore. You can work full-time." Lisa stared at him, not believing it. Was this man sitting in front of her the same one she loved? The same one who held her hand at the altar? The same one who cried when Olivia was born? "I can't believe you're doing this," she whispered, feeling tears appear. "Lisa, don't be dramatic. It's just a matter of being fair. Equality, you know." "Fair? You think it's fair to throw this in my face now, after 18 years, after I sacrificed everything?" "Nobody told you to sacrifice anything," he responded, and stood up from the table. Lisa sat there, paralyzed, watching Stephen go upstairs without looking back. The candles were still lit. Dinner was half finished, the wine untouched in his glass. Lisa looked around the dining room that she had decorated with so much care and realized that nothing would ever be the same. Questions started invading her mind. Why now? Why like this? So cold. What had happened to the man she knew? And the question that hurt the most, did she really know Stephen? Lisa was about to discover that this conversation was just the beginning, and that the truth behind Stephen's words was much, much darker than she could ever imagine. Now think, when was the last time you stopped to reflect on how much you really know the person who sleeps next to you every night? If you're enjoying this story, leave a like on this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any emotional stories like this one. Lisa didn't sleep that night. She lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to Stephen's breathing beside her. He slept peacefully, as if nothing had happened, as if he hadn't just turned her world upside down. The next morning, Lisa got up early. She didn't want to be in bed when Stephen woke up. She went downstairs to the kitchen, made coffee, sat at the table, and tried to organize her thoughts. She needed to understand what was happening. How was she going to manage to pay half the household bills? She grabbed the laptop and opened the spreadsheet where she kept track of basic expenses. Mortgage, $1,800 a month. Electricity, gas, water, internet, another $300. Groceries, about $600. The list was long. Lisa did the quick math. Half of everything would be almost $2,000 a month. She looked at her account statement. The freelance projects she did brought in, at most, $800 a month, sometimes less. Stephen came down to the kitchen at 7:30. He was dressed for work, tie adjusted, hair combed. He grabbed a cup of coffee without looking at her. "Good morning," Lisa said, her voice coming out hoarse. "Good morning," he replied, scrolling on his phone. "Stephen, we need to talk about yesterday." "There's nothing to talk about, Lisa. I already explained, but you don't understand. I can't pay half the bills. It's impossible with what I earn." Stephen looked at her. "Then you're going to have to earn more. Simple as that." "Simple? Stephen, I'm 42 years old. I haven't worked full-time in 16 years. Who's going to hire me?" "That's your problem, Lisa. You made your choices. Now you have to deal with the consequences." Lisa felt anger rising. "My choices. Our choices, Stephen. We decided together that I would stay home when Olivia was born. Look, I don't have time for this right now." He finished his coffee, grabbed his briefcase. "I have a meeting at 8:30. "Stephen, wait, why are you doing this?" He stopped at the door. "Because it's fair, Lisa. Because I don't want to be the only one responsible for everything anymore." "You think I don't work? You think taking care of this house, these kids, isn't work? It's not the same thing and you know it," he said, and left. Lisa stood in the kitchen, shaking. She grabbed her phone and called Laura, her best friend since college. "Hi, Lisa. How are you?" Laura answered cheerfully. "Laura, can you come over? I need to talk to you." "Of course, sweetie. Is everything okay? You sound strange." "No, everything's not okay." "Can you come?" "I'm already leaving." 40 minutes later, Laura was sitting in the living room, listening to everything. Lisa told her about the anniversary dinner, about the bombshell Stephen dropped, about that morning's conversation. Laura was silent for a moment. "Wait, let me see if I understand. Out of nowhere, after 18 years, he wants you to split all the bills 50-50, Laura asked, incredulous. "Exactly." "Lisa, that doesn't make sense." "Something's wrong here." "I know, but he acts like it's the most normal thing in the world." Laura bit her lip, thoughtful. "Do you think there could be someone else?" Lisa's stomach turned. "Someone else? Like another woman?" "Yeah, sometimes when men do these strange things, when they change out of nowhere, it's because there's someone. Is he more distant? On his phone a lot?" Lisa thought. In recent weeks, Stephen had been different. He came home late, was glued to his phone, seemed distant. Now that you mention it, yes, he has been acting strange for a while. He travels a lot, doesn't he? "Yes, for conferences, client meetings." Laura was quiet. "Lisa, I don't want to scare you, but you need to pay attention. Something's going on here. Either there's someone else, or there are financial problems he's not telling you about, or there's something you don't know." "Financial problems?" "But he said everything's under control." "And do you believe him?" Lisa paused. Did she? She had always believed Stephen, always trusted him completely. But now, after that absurd request, she didn't know what to believe anymore. "I don't know anymore, Laura." Laura held her hand. "Listen, you need to stay alert. You need to watch his behavior. If he's lying about something, he'll end up giving himself away somehow. And what do I do? Pay attention. To his schedule, to conversations, to his phone if you can. And Lisa, there's one more thing. You should think about looking for a lawyer." "A lawyer?" "Laura, do you think we're going to get divorced?" "I don't know. But it's better to be prepared. You have 2 kids to protect." After Laura left, Lisa kept thinking, a lawyer, divorce. Those words seemed impossible, but Laura was right. She needed to protect herself. She needed to understand what Stephen was hiding. Because he was hiding something. Lisa was sure of that now. She thought about everything Laura had said. Watch Stephen. Pay attention to his behaviors. See if he gave himself away somehow. Lisa decided she was going to do exactly that. She would watch every move, every conversation, every absence. If there were secrets, she would find them out. Because 18 years of marriage deserved the truth. Her kids deserved the truth. And she deserved to know exactly what was happening with the man she thought she knew so well. 3 days passed since the conversation with Laura. Lisa tried to act normal in front of the kids, but she watched Stephen's every move. He came home late, was always on his phone, barely talked. On Wednesday night, Stephen got home at 9. Lisa was in the kitchen. Olivia and Jake had already gone upstairs. He walked in, dropped his briefcase on the table, and pulled out a chair. "Lisa, sit here. I need to show you something." She sat down, her heart racing. Stephen opened his laptop and turned the screen. It was a huge spreadsheet, full of numbers. "What's this?" "All the household expenses for the last 3 months. I organized everything." He pointed. Mortgage, $1,800. Utilities, $320. Groceries, $640. Gas, $250. Car insurance, $180. Health insurance, $300. Olivia's gym, $80. Jake's tutoring, $120. Netflix, $15. Spotify, $10. Amazon Prime, $13. Lisa looked without being able to process. Monthly total, $3,728. Half for each, $1,864. "Stephen, I make $800 a month. How am I going to pay almost $2,000? You're going to have to find a way. I spent 16 years taking care of our house, our kids." "That was your choice, Lisa." "Stop saying that." Stephen closed the laptop. "I'm going to start transferring only my half starting next month. You have 3 weeks. 3 weeks? Impossible. And if you can't do it, we'll have to make cuts. Cancel Olivia's gym, Jake's tutoring. Maybe sell the house and move to a smaller place. Are you crazy? Take away the kids' activities. I'm being practical." He grabbed the laptop and went to the office. Lisa was paralyzed. Sell the house, cancel the kids, activities? None of this made sense. During the following days, the pressure only increased. Stephen demanded daily, "Have you found a job yet? Have you gotten clients?" Lisa tried to explain. It wasn't that simple, but he wouldn't listen. She spent hours sending out resumes, administrative assistant, receptionist, anything. But the requirements were impossible. Recent experience, software she didn't know. She sent 30 resumes, no responses. She reached out to old design clients. Most didn't even respond. One said he might have a project in 2 months. 2 months. She didn't have 2 months. Lisa also tried online freelance platforms, but the competition was huge. There were people charging half of what she charged, and even so, she couldn't get work. Anxiety started consuming her. At night, she couldn't sleep. During the day, she had stomach pains. Every time she saw Stephen, she felt anger and desperation at the same time. On Friday, Stephen came down from the office with a suitcase. Lisa was in the living room with the kids. "What's that?" she asked. "I'm going to sleep in the guest room until you start contributing." Olivia looked shocked. "What's going on?" "Nothing, honey. Your dad just needs space." Lisa tried to cover. Jake turned down the TV volume. "Are you guys fighting?" "Everything's fine," Stephen lied, going upstairs with the suitcase. But it wasn't fine. Olivia looked at Lisa with tears. "Mom, are you guys getting divorced?" "No, sweetheart. It's just a phase." But Lisa didn't know if she was lying. After the kids went upstairs, she was alone. She grabbed her phone and called Laura. He moved to the guest room in front of the kids. "My God, Lisa, he's pressuring you on purpose. And the kids are noticing. Olivia asked me if we're getting divorced. Did you look for a lawyer?" "Not yet. I was hoping it would get better." "Lisa, it's not going to get better. You need to protect yourself." That night, Lisa didn't sleep. She thought about everything. The 18 years together, the sacrifices, how Stephen had changed, and how she was going to protect the kids. On Saturday, while Stephen was out and the kids were at friends' houses, Lisa did something she never thought she'd do. She went to the room where Stephen was sleeping. She looked around. Clothes scattered, suitcase open, and on the nightstand, his wallet. Lisa hesitated. Going through his things felt wrong, but he was hiding something. With trembling hands, she opened the wallet. Cards, driver's license, some cash. Then she saw it, a folded receipt, hidden. Lisa took it and unfolded it. It was from a jewelry store, a gold bracelet, $2,400, purchased 3 weeks ago. Lisa looked at her own wrists. She didn't have any bracelet. Stephen had never given her gold jewelry. Who had he bought that bracelet for? Lisa spent the rest of the weekend thinking about that receipt. $2,400 on a gold bracelet. For whom? The question wouldn't leave her mind. She photographed the receipt before putting it back in the wallet. She needed that proof. On Monday, Lisa decided she was going to investigate, discreetly. Without Stephen knowing, she started observing everything. Every move he made, every conversation, every time he picked up his phone. And the more she observed, the more strange things she noticed. Stephen was different, more absent. Even when he was home, he seemed to be somewhere else. He was glued to his phone. Messages came in all the time. And whenever Lisa entered the room, he quickly turned off the screen or flipped the device face down. There was one time, on Tuesday night, when Lisa walked into the living room and Stephen was on the phone. As soon as he saw her, he quickly said, "I have to go," and ended the call. When Lisa asked who it was, he said it was work. But she saw his expression. It was a lie. On Wednesday, Lisa was paying some bills online when she had an idea. She logged into their joint bank account, the one they always used for household expenses. She started looking at statements from recent months. Stephen's deposits were smaller, much smaller. Before, he deposited about $5,000 a month into the joint account. But in the last 6 months, the deposits had dropped to $3,000. Where was the rest of his money going? Lisa felt her heart race. She clicked on more options and saw something that made her stomach turn. There were transfers. Monthly transfers from the joint account to another account. An account she didn't know about. $500 here, $800 there, small amounts being diverted. Lisa tried to click to see more details about the destination account, but the system wouldn't let her. It was an external account. She wrote down the partial number that appeared on the screen. Then she went to the drawer where they kept important documents. She looked for old statements, bank papers. Nothing about this mysterious account. Then she remembered. Stephen's office. He kept some papers there. Maybe there was something about this account. Lisa went upstairs, her heart pounding. The office door was closed. She opened it slowly and went in. The desk was organized, papers stacked, pens in place. Lisa started opening drawers. First drawer, office supplies. Second drawer, some receipts, nothing important. Third drawer, locked. Lisa pulled. It wouldn't open. Why had Stephen locked that drawer? He never did that before. What was hidden inside? She looked for the key. She looked in the other drawers, under the mouse pad, behind books on the shelf. Nothing. Stephen must have the key with him, or had hidden it somewhere she didn't know about. Lisa sat in the office chair, frustrated. There was a secret bank account. There was a locked drawer. There was the receipt for the expensive bracelet. There were mysterious calls. Everything pointed to the same thing. Stephen was hiding something big. She grabbed her phone and opened the browser. She typed in the bank's name and the partial account number she had written down. She tried to access it. It asked for a password. She tried some combinations. Stephen's birth date, wedding anniversary. Nothing worked. Lisa gave up and went back to the living room. She called Laura. He has a secret account. He's been diverting money from the joint account for months. Laura was silent. Lisa, that's not good. I know. And there's a locked drawer in his office. He never locked anything before. He's hiding something. It could be another woman. It could be financial problems. It could be both. How do I find out? You need to get into that drawer, look for the key, or find a way to open it. What if he finds out I'm investigating? Lisa, he's already lying to you. He's already pressuring you financially. He's already sleeping in another room. What else can he do? Laura was right. Lisa needed to find out the truth, even if it hurt, even if it was worse than she imagined. That night, while Stephen was in the shower, Lisa went to his suitcase in the guest room. She looked in pants pockets, in the suitcase compartments. She found coins, gas receipts, a piece of gum, but no key. Then she remembered something. Stephen had a key ring that hung in the garage. Old keys, for padlocks, for the old car. Maybe the drawer key was there. Lisa went down to the garage. She found the key ring hanging on a hook. There were about 10 different keys. She took them all and ran upstairs to the office. One by one, she tried them in the locked drawer. The first one didn't go in. The second one didn't either. The third one turned but didn't open. The fourth wasn't it. The fifth, the sixth. Then, the seventh key went in and turned. Click. The drawer opened. Lisa pulled the drawer slowly. Inside there were folders, envelopes, papers. She grabbed the first folder. They were bank statements from a checking account in Stephen's name. Stephen only opened 6 months ago. Lisa flipped through the statements. Regular deposits. $500, $800, sometimes $1,000 a month. The current balance was almost $10,000. Stephen had $10,000 hidden from her. She felt the ground disappear. For 6 months, Stephen had been diverting money to a secret account. While saying they needed to split expenses, he was saving money just for himself. Lisa photographed the statements with her phone. Every page, every transaction. Then, she put everything back and locked the drawer. She put the keys back in the garage. When she returned to the living room, she was shaking. Not from fear, from anger. Stephen had lied, had deceived, had planned all of this. And Lisa was determined she would find out the whole truth, every lie, every secret, every betrayal. Because now she knew the man she'd been married to for 18 years was a stranger. And she needed to find out who he really was. The following days were a nightmare. Stephen increased the pressure unbearably. Every day, the same demand. Have you found a job yet? Have you gotten clients? When are you going to start paying your share? On Thursday morning, he came down to the kitchen while Lisa was preparing breakfast for the kids. Olivia was eating cereal, and Jake was doing homework at the last minute. Lisa, it's been a week. Have you made any progress? Stephen asked, grabbing a cup. I've sent out over 40 resumes. I'm waiting for responses. And freelance work? I got a small project. It'll bring in $200. Stephen laughed, sarcastically. $200. Great. Only $1,600 more to go. Olivia looked up from her cereal. What are you talking about? Nothing, honey. Finish eating, Lisa said quickly. Stephen left without saying goodbye. Lisa saw Olivia and Jake exchange glances. They knew something was wrong. On Friday night, the situation got worse. Stephen got home at 8 and called Lisa to the office. She went upstairs, her heart racing. Sit, he said, pointing to the chair. Lisa sat. Stephen stood, arms crossed. Lisa, I'm serious. If by the end of the month you can't contribute, I'm going to take action. What action? I'm going to cancel Olivia's gym, Jake's tutoring, and I'm going to start looking for smaller houses for us to rent. Stephen, you can't do that. Yes, I can. If you're not willing to help financially, we'll have to cut expenses. Olivia loves volleyball. It's the only thing she has. Should have thought about that before. And Jake needs those classes. He's struggling with math. His problem, or yours, since you're the one staying home. Lisa felt tears burning. Why are you doing this to us? I'm not doing anything. I'm just asking you to be responsible. He opened the door. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have work to do. Lisa went downstairs, shaking. She went to her room and locked the door. She cried for half an hour. Then she dried her tears and grabbed her phone. She needed help. She called Laura. He's threatening to cancel the kids' activities. He wants to sell the house. My God, Lisa. He's cornering you. I don't know what to do. I can't get a job. I can't get enough clients. How am I going to pay almost $2,000 a month? You're not, and he knows it. He's pressuring you on purpose. But why? Why is he being so cruel? Because he wants something. Either he wants to force you out of the house, or he wants you to accept an unfavorable divorce, or he has another plan. But Lisa, you can't give in. You need to find a lawyer now. I don't have money for a lawyer. Many do free consultations. At least go talk to one. Understand your rights, please. Lisa promised she would think about it, but inside, she was terrified. A lawyer meant accepting the marriage was ending. It meant war. It meant exposing everything to the kids. She still had hope. Maybe it was just a phase. Maybe Stephen would go back to normal. But on Saturday morning, her hope died a little more. Lisa was in the kitchen when she heard Olivia crying in her room. She ran upstairs. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" Olivia was sitting on the bed, her face red. "Mom, what's happening with you and Dad?" Lisa sat next to her. "Why do you ask?" "Because you don't talk anymore. Because Dad is sleeping in the guest room. Because I hear you fighting at night." Tears fell. "Are you getting divorced?" Lisa's heart squeezed. "I don't know, honey. We're going through a difficult time. Is it my fault? Did I do something wrong?" "No, of course not. None of this is your fault." "Then why? Why are you fighting?" How could Lisa explain? How could she say that Dad was demanding money she didn't have, that he was threatening to take away her activities, that maybe he had someone else? "It's complicated, Olivia. Adult things. I'm 16 years old. I'm not a kid anymore. I deserve to know." Lisa sighed. "Your dad wants me to pay half of all the household bills, but I don't earn enough money. Then I can help. I can get a weekend job. I can quit the gym." "No, you're not quitting anything. This isn't your problem." "But I want to help." "The best way to help is to keep focusing on your studies and being yourself." Olivia hugged Lisa and cried. And Lisa cried with her, feeling like the worst mother in the world for not being able to protect her daughter from this situation. Later, Jake also came to talk. He was quieter, more withdrawn. "Mom, are we going to have to move?" "Why do you think that?" "I heard Dad on the phone. He said maybe we need a smaller house." Lisa felt anger. Stephen was discussing this on the phone where Jake could hear. "I don't know, son, maybe. I don't want to move. All my friends are here. I know. I don't want to either." "Then why does Dad want to?" Lisa didn't have an answer. How could she explain to a 13-year-old boy that his father was being selfish, that he was putting money above family? That night, after the kids went to sleep, Lisa stayed awake thinking. The kids were suffering, noticing everything, asking questions she didn't know how to answer, and Stephen didn't seem to care. He kept pressuring, threatening, being cold. Lisa grabbed the laptop and started searching. Divorce lawyers in Chicago. She read reviews, compared. She found a lawyer who seemed good. Sarah Mitchell, specialized in family law. The reviews said she was fair but strong, exactly what Lisa needed. She hesitated. Calling a lawyer meant admitting defeat, meant accepting the marriage was ending. But Laura was right. She needed to protect herself. She needed to protect the kids. Lisa wrote down the number. Tomorrow, on Monday, she would call. She would schedule a consultation. She would find out her rights, because she couldn't stay passive anymore while Stephen destroyed the family. She was about to discover that the situation was even worse than she imagined. On Monday morning, Stephen left for work at 8. Lisa waited for his car to disappear around the corner. The kids were at school. The house was empty and silent. It was the perfect time. Lisa went upstairs to the office. The drawer she had unlocked days ago was still there. She opened it again and this time decided to look at everything more carefully. She needed to understand what Stephen was planning. She grabbed the first folder. They were documents about the house. Lisa started reading. There was a complete appraisal of the property, done 4 months ago. The house was worth $480,000. They still owed $200,000 on the mortgage. That left an equity of $280,000. Why had Stephen requested this appraisal? Lisa kept looking and found more papers. Handwritten notes, calculations, house, $280K, cars, $45K, savings, $15K, total, $340K, division, $170K each. Lisa's stomach turned. Stephen was taking inventory of everything they owned. He was calculating how much each would receive in a divorce. He was planning to end the marriage, and had been planning for months. She grabbed another folder. Inside were business cards, 3 different lawyers, all specialized in divorce. On the back of one of the cards, a note. Consultation, February 15th. Discuss asset protection. Lisa looked at the calendar on her phone. February 15th had been 2 months ago. Stephen had consulted a divorce lawyer 2 months ago and hadn't told her anything. The demand to split bills had started right after that consultation. He had gone to the lawyer, received guidance on how to protect himself financially, and come home with a plan. Lisa's hands trembled as she photographed everything. Every document, every note, every card. She needed this evidence. She kept searching the drawer and found more statements from the secret account. The balance had increased. Now it was almost $15,000. Stephen was accumulating money while pressuring her. Then Lisa saw an envelope at the bottom of the drawer. It was sealed, but not taped shut. She opened it. Inside were receipts, many receipts. Lisa started looking at them one by one and felt the world collapse. Italian restaurant in Chicago, $250. Date, 3 months ago. Lisa remembered that night. Stephen had said he was working late, but he was dining at an expensive restaurant, hotel, downtown Chicago. $320, one night. Lisa frowned. Stephen didn't need a hotel in Chicago. They lived in Chicago, another restaurant, another hotel. In Boston this time. Stephen had traveled to Boston 2 months ago. Said it was a work conference, but this receipt was from a different hotel than the one he'd said he'd stay at. And it was a suite. $600 a night. Lisa kept looking at the receipts, feeling nausea grow. Flowers, $100. Imported perfume, $280. Diamond earrings, $1,800. And the gold bracelet she already knew about, $2,400. They were expensive gifts. Gifts Lisa had never received. Flowers that never arrived at her house, perfume she never saw, earrings and bracelets she never wore. Stephen was buying gifts for someone else. He was spending thousands of dollars on another woman, while demanding that Lisa pay half the household bills. Lisa sat on the office floor, surrounded by papers and receipts, and let reality sink in. It wasn't just about money. It wasn't just about splitting bills. Stephen was having an affair, and he was planning to leave her. Everything made sense now. The coldness, the distance, the phone always protected, the trips, the delays. Stephen had someone else, and he was preparing to end the marriage and start a new life. With her. But who was she? Lisa looked at the receipts again, searching for clues. The restaurants were all in Chicago, the hotels too, except for the one in Boston. So the woman lived in Chicago. She was someone Stephen saw regularly. Lisa remembered the calls he would interrupt when she entered the room, the messages he would hide, how he was always too busy to spend time with the family, all because he was busy with someone else. Tears started falling. 18 years of marriage, 2 kids, an entire life built together. And Stephen was throwing it all away. For whom? For a woman he barely knew? Or was it an old affair? How long had this been going on? Lisa photographed all the receipts. Every one. Every proof of betrayal. She put everything back in the drawer and locked it. She went down to the kitchen and sat at the table, looking at her phone full of photos. Evidence. She had proof of everything now. Of the secret account, of the divorce planning, of the consultations with lawyers, and of the affair. Stephen was having an affair and trying to hide money before asking for a divorce. Lisa grabbed her phone and called Laura. When her friend answered, Lisa could barely speak. He's having an affair. I found receipts. Restaurants, hotels, jewelry, thousands of dollars spent on someone else. Laura was silent. Lisa, I'm so sorry. And he's been planning the divorce for months. There are lawyer papers, house appraisal, everything calculated. You need a lawyer now. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today. I know. And Lisa, you need to confront him. With the evidence. Before he does something else. Lisa took a deep breath. I will. But first I'm going to the lawyer. I need to know my rights before facing him. That afternoon, Lisa called Sarah Mitchell's office and got an appointment for the next day. She would tell everything, show all the evidence, and find out how to protect herself and the kids. Because now there was no more doubt. The marriage was over. Stephen had chosen someone else, and Lisa needed to be prepared for the war that was coming. Lisa spent all of Tuesday in lawyer Sarah Mitchell's office. She showed all the photos, all the receipts, all the statements. Sarah listened to everything, taking notes, asking questions. In the end, she was direct. Lisa, you have a strong case. He hid money, planned the divorce without informing you, and is having an extramarital affair. You're entitled to half of everything, including the money he hid, and you'll probably get alimony too. Lisa left the office with a strange feeling, relief mixed with sadness. She was prepared now. She knew her rights. She had a plan. But it still hurt. It hurt knowing the marriage had ended this way. That night, Lisa made a decision. She was going to confront Stephen with everything. She wasn't going to pretend she didn't know anymore. She wasn't going to let him lie and manipulate anymore. She had proof, and she was going to put it all on the table. Stephen got home at 8:30. He went straight to the guest room as always. But Lisa went upstairs after him. Stephen, we need to talk. Now. He turned, irritated. Lisa, I'm tired. We'll talk tomorrow. No, it's now. Lisa entered the room and closed the door behind her. Stephen sighed. What is it? Lisa grabbed her phone and opened the photos. I want you to explain this to me. She showed the secret account statement. Stephen's face went pale. Where did you get that? Answer my question. What is this account? That's none of your business. None of my business. Stephen, you've been diverting money from our family to a secret account for months. I have the right to have a personal account. Not when you're married and have kids. Not when you're pressuring me to pay bills while hiding $15,000. Stephen crossed his arms. You invaded my privacy. You went through my things. And you've been lying to me for months. Lisa showed another photo. Explain this. House appraisal. Consultations with divorce lawyers. You're planning to leave me and didn't have the courage to tell me. Lisa, you're being paranoid. Paranoid? Lisa felt rage explode. Paranoid. You think I'm an idiot, Stephen. You think I wasn't going to find out. Find out what? There's nothing to find out. No. Lisa showed the receipts. Then explain this. Expensive restaurants, hotels, flowers, perfume, diamond earrings, gold bracelet, thousands of dollars spent on someone else while you tell me we don't have money. Stephen turned red. You don't understand anything. Then explain it to me. Make me understand, Stephen. Who is she? There's no she. Liar. You're having an affair and trying to hide money before asking for a divorce. I know everything. You don't know anything, Stephen shouted. You have no idea what I go through. What you go through, what you go through. Lisa was crying now. I spent 18 years taking care of your house, your kids, sacrificing my career, and this is how you repay me. Nobody told you to sacrifice anything. That was your choice. Our choice. We decided together. No, Lisa, you decided. You wanted to stay home. You wanted to be a housewife. And now you want to blame me for it. Lisa was shocked. You really believe that? You really think I chose this alone? Yes. And now you're financially dependent. You don't really work. You don't contribute. You just spend my money. Your money. Stephen, we're married. It's the family's money. Not anymore. I'm sick of carrying you on my back. Lisa felt like she'd been slapped. Carrying on your back? Is that how you see me? After everything I did. What did you do? Cleaned the house? Cooked? Congratulations, Lisa. What a great contribution. I raised your kids. I took care of you. I built a family. A family that traps me. A family that keeps me from living my life. So that's it. You want to get rid of us? Stephen hesitated. For a second, Lisa saw something in his face. Guilt? Regret? But then he hardened again. I want my freedom. I want to not have to account for every penny I spend. I want to have my own life. You have a mistress, Stephen. Admit it. Stop lying. I don't have to admit anything to you. Yes, you do. I'm your wife. For now, Stephen said coldly. Lisa felt the ground disappear. What do you mean by that? You know exactly what I mean. Suddenly, the bedroom door opened. It was Olivia. Her face was red, wet with tears. Stop screaming. Please, stop! She shouted. Lisa and Stephen froze. Jake appeared behind his sister, eyes wide, scared. You woke us up. You were screaming so loud, Jake said, his voice shaking. Lisa ran to the kids. I'm sorry, sweetheart. I'm sorry. Go back to bed. Are you getting divorced? Olivia asked, tears falling. Is that it? Are you getting divorced and destroying our family? Stephen stayed silent, looking at the floor. Honey, we'll talk tomorrow. Lisa tried to calm her. No, I want to know now. Are you getting divorced or not? Stephen looked at Lisa, then at the kids. I need to leave. He grabbed his coat and wallet. Where are you going? Lisa asked. I don't know. Anywhere but here. He passed by the kids and went down the stairs. Dad, wait! Jake shouted. But Stephen didn't stop. Lisa heard the front door slam, the sound of the car starting, the tires on the street. And then, silence. Stephen had left. Olivia and Jake looked at Lisa, waiting for answers. But she didn't have any. Only tears. She hugged both kids and cried. She cried for the broken family, for the destroyed marriage, for the scared children. But in the midst of tears, something grew inside her. Determination, anger, strength. Stephen might have left. He might have lied, cheated, abandoned. But Lisa wasn't going to give up. She was going to fight for the kids, for herself, for the truth. Because now she knew. There was no going back. There was no fixing this. Stephen had made his choice, and now Lisa was going to make hers. She would find out the whole truth, every secret, every lie, and she would protect her kids, no matter what it took. And you, what would you do in Lisa's place? Have you been through something similar? Share your opinion about this situation in the comments. Sometimes life puts us in situations where we need to be stronger than we think we're capable of being. 3 days passed. 3 days without news from Stephen. He didn't come home, didn't call, didn't answer messages. Lisa tried calling several times, but his phone went straight to voicemail. It was as if he had disappeared. Olivia and Jake were devastated. They asked 1,000 questions Lisa didn't know how to answer. Where's Dad? When is he coming back? Did he abandon us? Lisa tried to calm them, said Dad just needed time, but inside she was desperate. On Wednesday afternoon, Lisa was in the kitchen preparing dinner when her phone rang. Unknown number. She answered, expecting it to be a telemarketer. Hello? Lisa, it's Jennifer, Stephen's sister. Lisa was surprised. Jennifer rarely called. The two weren't close, and Stephen had distanced himself from his sister years ago because of family disagreements. Hi, Jennifer. How are you? Lisa, I need to tell you some things. Things Stephen should have told you, but didn't have the courage to. Lisa's heart raced. What things? It's not a phone conversation. Can you meet me? Today. It's urgent. An hour later, Lisa was sitting in a cafe in downtown Chicago. Jennifer was a woman in her 40s, dark hair, eyes just like Stephen's. She ordered coffee and took a deep breath before starting. Lisa, I don't even know where to begin, but you deserve to know the truth about Stephen, about what he's doing, about the problems he's created. What problems? Jennifer pulled an envelope from her purse. First, yes, Stephen is having an affair with a woman named Rebecca. She works at the same company as him. The affair started about 8 months ago. Lisa felt her stomach turn. So it was true. There was another woman. How do you know this? Because Stephen called me last week, asking to borrow money. And when I asked why, he told me everything. He told me about Rebecca, about wanting to start a new life, about being tired of the family. Tears started falling down Lisa's face. Hearing it out loud hurt more than she imagined. But Lisa, the mistress is only part of the problem. The real problem is much worse. Jennifer opened the envelope. Stephen is broke. Financially destroyed. What do you mean? 2 years ago, he started investing in cryptocurrency. He invested a lot, tens of thousands of dollars, and lost almost everything. Then he tried to recover the money by gambling online. Sports, virtual casinos. He lost even more. Lisa froze. How much did he lose? In total, over $100,000. Lisa felt the world spin. $100,000. It was impossible. How? Where did this money come from? From your savings, from the joint account. He was withdrawing little by little, saying it was for safe investments, but he was throwing it all away. My God, Jennifer continued. And there's more. 4 months ago, Stephen was demoted at work. He lost his manager position. His salary was cut by 40%. He didn't tell you because he was ashamed. Lisa was shocked. Demoted. He never told me anything. He kept leaving every day as if nothing had changed. And he was also investigated for misuse of the corporate card. He was using it to pay for dinners with Rebecca, hotels, gifts. The company found out and gave him a warning. He almost got fired. Every word was a stab. Lisa could barely breathe. But the worst of all, Lisa, Jennifer hesitated. Stephen took out a loan for $50,000 using your house as collateral. And he forged your signature to get it. Lisa was in shock. He forged my signature. Yes, I saw the documents. He showed them to me when he asked for money. He's desperate, Lisa. He owes banks, loan sharks, everyone. And the $50,000 from the loan, where did it go? He paid some debts, used part of it to impress Rebecca, and lost the rest trying to recover money by gambling. Lisa put her head in her hands. It was worse than she had imagined. Much worse. Stephen wasn't just having an affair. He had destroyed the family's finances, had put the house at risk, had lied about everything. There's one more thing, Jennifer said softly. Stephen received a job offer in Seattle. He accepted it, and he was planning to go alone. Without you, without the kids. He was simply going to disappear and start a new life with Rebecca. Lisa felt anger rise like never before. He was going to abandon the kids. Yes. He said he would send some money when he could, but basically he was just leaving and that was it. Why are you telling me all this? Jennifer took Lisa's hand. Because you deserve to know. Because the kids deserve better. And because I can't stay silent watching my brother destroy a family. I distanced myself from him years ago because of other lies. But when he called me asking for money and telling me these plans, I knew I had to warn you. Lisa stayed silent, processing everything. The affair, the gambling, the lost investments, the forged loan, the plan to abandon the family. It was too much. It was devastating. But as the tears fell, something started growing inside her. It wasn't despair. It wasn't weakness. It was anger. It was strength. It was determination. Stephen had lied, cheated, stolen, had put the family at risk out of selfishness and irresponsibility, had planned to abandon the kids. But Lisa wasn't going to let him. She wasn't going to allow him to destroy everything and get away with it. Jennifer, do you have proof? Documents? I do. I brought copies for you. Jennifer pushed the envelope across the table. Gambling statements, forged loan documents, everything. Lisa took the envelope. Thank you. Thank you for telling me. What are you going to do? Lisa looked at the envelope, then at Jennifer. I'm going to fight. I'm going to protect my kids, and I'm going to make sure Stephen pays for everything he did. When Lisa got home, she immediately called Sarah Mitchell. She told her everything. She sent photos of the documents Jennifer had given her. Sarah was silent for a moment before responding. Lisa, this changes everything. Signature forgery is a crime. He could go to prison. And with all this evidence, you'll get full custody of the kids, the house, and he'll have to pay alimony even while in Seattle. I want justice. I want him to pay. And he will pay. Tomorrow we'll file the papers, divorce, custody, everything. That night, Lisa sat on the bed and looked at the ring on her finger. 18 years. 18 years that had been a lie. Stephen wasn't who she thought he was. He never had been. She took off the ring and placed it on the nightstand. She wasn't going to wear it anymore. She wasn't going to pretend she had a marriage. She had a war, and she was going to win. Lisa looked at the ceiling, and for the first time in weeks, she didn't cry, didn't tremble, didn't feel fear. She felt something different. Power. She had been pushed, trampled, betrayed. But she wasn't going to be a victim anymore. Stephen had awakened something in her that had been dormant. A strength she didn't know existed. And that strength was going to carry her through the storm that was coming. On Thursday morning, Lisa was in Sarah Mitchell's office with all the evidence. The documents Jennifer had given her, the photos she herself had taken, everything. Sarah looked at each paper carefully and then looked at Lisa. We have everything we need. I'll prepare the divorce papers today, and I'll request an order to protect the assets. To ensure Stephen doesn't sell anything or take out more loans without your authorization. How long will it take? It depends. But with this evidence of forgery and dissipation of assets, the judge will be favorable to you. You'll get the house, full custody of the kids, and he'll have to pay alimony and child support. Lisa nodded. Do what you need to do. That afternoon, Stephen finally called. Lisa answered, her voice cold. Hi. Lisa, we need to talk. I need to explain some things, Stephen said, trying to sound calm. Where are you? At a hotel. I needed time to think. Time to think? Stephen, you disappeared for 3 days. Your kids are desperate. I know. I'm sorry. But Lisa, about the argument we had, I went too far. I said things I shouldn't have. You think? Can you come to the hotel? We can talk calmly, without fighting. Lisa thought. She wanted to confront him. With everything. With all the evidence. Which hotel? The Marriott on Michigan Avenue, room 804. An hour later, Lisa was knocking on the room door. Stephen opened it. He looked tired, unshaven, red eyes. But Lisa didn't feel sorry. She felt anger. Come in, he said. Lisa entered but stayed standing. So, what do you want to tell me? Stephen sat on the bed. Lisa, I know things are difficult. I know I was hard on you, but we can work this out. It doesn't have to be this way. What way, Stephen? With fighting, with you invading my privacy, with all this tension. Lisa crossed her arms. Invading your privacy? Are you kidding me? You went through my things, Lisa, my drawer, my accounts, and I discovered a lot of interesting things. Lisa grabbed her phone, like this secret account with $15,000, money you diverted from our family. Stephen went pale. I can explain. Or these receipts, restaurants, hotels, jewelry, thousands of dollars spent on Rebecca. Stephen's face went white. How do you know her name? It doesn't matter how I know. What matters is that I know. I know everything, Stephen, about the affair, the gambling, the lost investments, the demotion at work, the forged loan. Stephen stood up. Who told you this? Your sister. Jennifer, that bitch. She had no right. She had every right. Someone had to tell me the truth since you didn't have the courage. Stephen ran his hands over his face. Lisa, I can explain everything. Then explain. Explain how you lost $100,000 gambling. Explain how you forged my signature to get a loan. Explain how you were planning to abandon your kids and go to Seattle with your mistress. I wasn't going to abandon the kids. No. Then what were you going to do? Stephen hesitated. I was going to send money. Visit them. Liar. You were going to disappear and start a new life. Leave us here dealing with the debts you created. Things weren't supposed to be like this. I was going to recover the money. The investments were going to work out. But they didn't. You threw away our family's savings, put our house at risk. I was trying to improve our life. No, Stephen. You were trying to save your own skin. And when it went wrong, you wanted to blame me. That's why the demand to split bills. That's why the pressure. You wanted me to take on your debts. Stephen sat down again, defeated. I ruined everything. Yes, you did. What are you going to do? Lisa looked at him, the man she had loved, the father of her children. But now she only saw a stranger, a liar, a cheater. I'm going to divorce you. I'm keeping the house and the kids, and you're going to pay for everything you did. Lisa, please, we can try again. I'll end it with Rebecca. I'll stop gambling. We'll start over. Start over. Stephen, you destroyed 18 years of trust, 18 years of partnership. You cheated, lied, stole. There's no going back. And the kids? The kids will be fine, because I'll take care of them, like I always have. Lisa went to the door. Before leaving, she turned. You'll receive the divorce papers in a few days. I suggest you get a good lawyer. She left without looking back. In the elevator, the tears finally came. Not tears of sadness, tears of relief. It was over. The marriage was over, and Lisa was free. When she got home, Laura was waiting. Lisa had asked her to come. She needed support for what she was going to do now. How did it go? Laura asked. I said everything. Confronted him with the evidence. He tried to manipulate, but it didn't work. And now? Now I talk to the kids. Lisa called Olivia and Jake to the living room. They sat on the couch, looking nervously at their mother. Kids, we need to talk about what's happening with the family. Are you getting divorced? Olivia asked directly. Lisa took a deep breath. Yes, I asked your father for a divorce today. Jake started crying. Olivia held her brother's hand. Why, Mom? Jake asked between sobs. Because sometimes people change, and your father changed in ways that made it impossible to stay together. Is it because of the other woman? Olivia asked. She was smart, had heard things. Lisa decided to be honest, but careful. Your father made choices that hurt our family. Yes, he got involved with someone else, but he also did other things that put you at risk. And my job as a mother is to protect you. Will we still see Dad? Jake asked. Of course, he's your father. That will never change. But we won't live together anymore. Do we have to leave the house? Olivia asked, worried. No, we're staying here. This is our home. The three stayed silent for a moment. Then Lisa opened her arms. Come here. Olivia and Jake threw themselves into their mother's embrace, and the three cried together. Later, after the kids went to sleep, Lisa sat with Laura and Jennifer, who had also come. You were very brave today, Jennifer said. I don't feel brave. I feel exhausted. But you did the right thing, Laura held her hand. And we'll be here to support you through everything. Lisa looked at the two women. She had lost a husband, but she had these friends. She had the kids. She had strength she didn't know existed. I spent 18 years building a family, taking care of everyone, sacrificing my dreams. Lisa wiped away tears. And he spent those 18 years building a lie. But now it's over. Now I'm going to rebuild, not for him, for me, and for my kids. And in that moment, Lisa knew. She had made the right decision. The divorce was going to be difficult. The future was uncertain. But for the first time in months, she felt something like hope. 6 months had passed. 6 months since that day at the hotel when Lisa had confronted Stephen. 6 months since she had asked for a divorce. And Lisa was unrecognizable, in the best possible way. It was an October morning. Lisa was in the kitchen making coffee when Olivia came down for breakfast. Good morning, Mom. Good morning, honey. Did you sleep well? I did. Are you ready for work? Lisa looked at her own reflection in the window glass. She was wearing a suit, hair up, light makeup. Yes, I have a meeting at 9. 3 months ago, Lisa had gotten a job, a real job, full-time, in graphic design. An advertising agency in Chicago was looking for a senior designer. Lisa had sent her portfolio, done the interview, and to her surprise, had been hired on the spot. The salary was good. $3,500 a month. It wasn't what Stephen used to earn, but it was enough. Enough to pay the bills, keep the house, take care of the kids. And with the alimony, Stephen would have to pay when the divorce was finalized. They would be comfortable. Jake came down right after his sister. "Mom, can you pick me up from school today? I have basketball practice at 4. "Of course, son. I get off work at 3. I'll swing by and get you." Lisa looked at her 2 kids eating cereal, talking about school, and felt pride. They were okay. Better than she had imagined. In the beginning, it had been hard. Lots of tears, lots of questions, lots of adjustment, but gradually, they had adapted to the new routine. Stephen saw the kids on weekends. He had rented a small apartment in Chicago, had given up the idea of going to Seattle. Rebecca had ended it with him when she found out about all the debts, and Stephen was now trying to rebuild his life too. Paying debts, going to therapy, trying to be a present father, even while living separately. Lisa didn't feel anger toward him anymore. She didn't feel anything, really. It was as if that Stephen from the past was someone else. And maybe he was. The divorce was ongoing. Stephen's lawyer had tried to negotiate, but Sarah Mitchell wouldn't budge. Lisa would keep the house, full custody, and Stephen would pay alimony. The judge had seen the evidence of forgery, gambling, dissipation of assets, and had been clear Stephen had to pay for the consequences of his choices. The house was protected. Sarah had gotten an order preventing Stephen from doing anything with the property. And she was negotiating for him to take on the loan debts alone since he had forged Lisa's signature. After the kids left for school, Lisa finished her coffee and grabbed her purse. She looked around the kitchen. The same kitchen where Stephen had dropped that bombshell months ago, where he had presented that absurd spreadsheet, where everything had started to fall apart. But now, that kitchen seemed different, lighter, more hers. The whole house seemed different, because now it was really her home, a safe place for her and the kids. No lies, no tension, no fear. Lisa locked the door and went to her car. On the way to work, she turned on the radio. A cheerful song was playing. She sang along, something she hadn't done in months, smiling. At the office, co-workers greeted her. Lisa had made friends, people who respected her work, who valued her ideas. She had discovered she was good at what she did, very good. In 3 months, she had already won 2 internal awards for creative campaigns. During lunch, Lisa met Laura at a cafe near the office. "Look at you," Laura said, hugging her friend. "You're glowing." "I'm feeling good." "Really good. Is work going well?" "Very well. Today I'm presenting a big campaign. I'm nervous, but excited." "And the kids?" "They're great. Olivia is thinking about going to veterinary college. Jake made the school basketball team." "And you? How's your heart?" Lisa thought. "It's at peace. I don't feel that pain anymore. I don't feel anger anymore. I just feel relief and gratitude." "Gratitude?" "For discovering the truth, for having the courage to leave, for giving myself a chance to start over." Laura smiled. "You're amazing. You know that." "I didn't know, but I'm starting to believe it." In the afternoon, Lisa presented the campaign. It was a success. The client approved everything on the spot. Her boss praised her in front of everyone. Lisa left the meeting feeling powerful, capable, valued. She picked up Jake from school, took him to practice, waited while he played. Then they went home together. Olivia was already there, doing homework. Lisa made dinner, pasta with meatballs, the kids' favorite. They ate together, talked about their day, laughed at silly stories. After dinner, while the kids went upstairs to their rooms, Lisa stayed in the living room. She sat on the couch and looked out the window. The sun was setting. The sky was orange and pink. Beautiful. Lisa thought about everything that had happened. The 18 years with Stephen, the anniversary bombshell, the discoveries, the pain, the anger, the divorce, and now the rebuilding. She had lost a marriage, but she had gotten herself back. She had discovered she was strong, that she was capable, that she didn't need anyone to validate her existence. She could take care of herself. She could take care of the kids. She could work, pay bills, build a life. And most important, she had discovered she deserved more. She deserved a real partner, someone who saw her as an equal, not as a burden, someone who valued her sacrifices, not threw them in her face, someone who was honest, loyal, present. Lisa didn't know if she would find that someone. Maybe yes, maybe no. But it didn't matter, because now she knew she was fine alone. She was complete alone. She didn't need another person to be happy. The phone rang. It was Jennifer. "Hi, Lisa. How are you?" "I'm good." "Great, actually. I wanted to invite you for lunch on Sunday. You and the kids. I'm making lasagna." Lisa smiled. Jennifer had become a friend, a sister Lisa never had. "We'd love to." After the call, Lisa went upstairs to shower. She passed by the kids' rooms. Jake was already asleep, headphones in. Olivia was on her laptop, probably chatting with friends. Lisa said goodnight to both. In her room, Lisa looked at herself in the mirror. She saw a 42-year-old woman, hair with some gray strands, expression lines around her eyes. But she also saw something new: strength, confidence, life. She wasn't that Lisa anymore, who accepted everything quietly, who sacrificed without complaining, who put everyone else first. Now she was a Lisa who knew her worth, who fought for what she deserved, who wasn't afraid to start over. Lisa lay in bed and picked up a book. She was reading more lately. She had gone back to doing things she enjoyed: painting on weekends, walking in the park, watching movies. Simple things she had forgotten to do during the years taking care of everyone except herself. Before turning off the light, Lisa looked at the nightstand. The ring she had taken off months ago was still there, inside a small box. She picked up the box and opened it. She looked at the ring for a moment. Then she closed the box and put it in the drawer. She didn't need that in sight anymore. That was the past. Lisa turned off the light and closed her eyes. Tomorrow would be another day of work, challenges, growth, another day building her new life. And she was ready, stronger, wiser, more herself than ever. The future was uncertain, but Lisa wasn't afraid anymore, because now she knew, no matter what came, she could handle it. She had survived the worst storm of her life, and had come out the other side not just intact, but better, reborn. Lisa's story teaches us something powerful. Sometimes, the worst thing that happens in our life can be the beginning of our greatest transformation. When Stephen dropped that bombshell, demanding she split the bills, he thought he was backing Lisa into a corner. But in reality, he was awakening a strength in her that had been dormant for years. Lisa could have given in. She could have accepted the unfair situation. She could have stayed in a marriage full of lies out of fear of being alone, fear of what people would think, fear of not being able to survive on her own. But she chose differently. She chose to fight. She chose truth. She chose herself and her children. And today, 6 months later, Lisa is no longer that insecure woman who didn't know her worth. She works, supports her kids, rebuilt her financial and emotional life. She discovered she's much stronger than she imagined. And most importantly, she learned that her worth never depended on being married. Her worth was always inside her. The moral of this story is clear. Never accept being treated as less than you deserve. It doesn't matter how many years you invested in a relationship. It doesn't matter how many sacrifices you made. If someone treats you with disrespect, lies, and betrayal, you have the right to choose yourself. You have the right to start over. And you're stronger than you think. Now think. Are you accepting less than you deserve in any area of your life? Are you sacrificing so much for others that you forgot to take care of yourself? What choice do you need to make today to start rebuilding your own life? Tell us in the comments. Your story might inspire other people who are going through the same situation. If you liked this story, If it touched your heart in any way, leave a like on this video. Subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss more inspiring stories like this one. And share this video with someone who needs to hear this message today. Because sometimes, someone else's story can be exactly the push we need to make the necessary changes in our own life.